And this is South Park Reddit has a pinned the top, so you know the rules, on the Reddit, and our rules on politics. I wanted to read.
Oh.
So it says, if you do not read this post, you run the risk of getting permanently banned.
Permaban. Oh my God, the fucking two scariest words in the vocabulary of a poster. Whew.
And this isn't Big Will either. Like, if Big Will was over here, I think it'd be a more light touch.
It's probably Big Will's boss.
Yeah.
It's probably even higher up.
It's Bigger Will.
Yeah.
It's huge Will. He signs Big Will paychecks.
Big Will's boss is Trey and Matt.
He talks to them all the time. He can send them scripts. Yeah.
Lets them know what's going on the forum. All political discussion must pertain to the world of South Park. I repeat, all political discussion must pertain to the world of South Park. One more time. All political discussion must pertain to the world of South Park. This means real-world politics are only to be discussed within the context of the show. If someone does not appear in this show, well, they don't really belong on this sub. Do you love the alt-right? We don't care. You love the left? We don't care. You want to argue politics about real-world stuff that hasn't even been mentioned in the show? Well, get the fudge out. Big Will needs to fix that. Thing.
I think that's a Cartman quote saying, "Get the fudge you, get the fudge out." I feel
okay.
Yeah, but
I thought it was wokeness.
That's great that it's like, are you all right or generally left? Either or, like, don't.
Both are the same to us. Like, we're describing those as like two sides of a coin, but it's like, wait a second, one of them is like considered to be outside of the mainstream of anything, and the other one is within the political spectrum.
He says
they're limiting discussion though, because South Park now is off for about 10 months a year. So the most relevant thing is what happened in April, right? So you could be talking about that in December, and that's the last political thing that happened you can talk about because it was the last thing they ever covered.
You're still allowed to talk about John Kerry. You could sit down and talk John Kerry all day. We are unpaid mods here to enjoy a show, not push agendas, get into political fights, or deal with a bunch of R words flinging shit. You want to have a real political discussion? Go to our politics or any of the numerous other political subs. We are a sub about the television show South Park. We are not a sub about politics. Keep that in mind. So now we get a FAQ, too, FAQ. Why don't you allow real world politics? That is
so the first question after that post is like, so I was reading that, but my question is, why do you do that?
And it says, we have a very small mod team and are shorthanded. As such, we decided that real world politics just aren't worth the shit show they bring. Seriously. When posts that have a real world pictures of Trump or mention him directly in a lot of bad outside posts, people that have zero history on the sub before the post just want to argue like idiots. It's not worth it to deal with all of them. So they don't want people coming in there
talking about Trump. But so have they done an episode about Trump? Has he like showed up on the show? They have to have, right?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. I already, as with a poster's brain, I'm already seeing the like easy loophole here of just like literally every episode of South Park. They have done so many episodes that anything in the, like, I don't know, like there's a mass shooting that's, you can just say like, oh, this recent mass shooting reminds me of this episode, and then boom, that's your entrance into talking about it.
Totally.
And that's what's happening on here. That like is actually like the justification. The next frequently asked question is, why don't you change the rules?
It seems unfair to discourage political discussion because South Park radicalized generations to having the worst politics ever.
Yeah,
and now you're saying don't talk about that.
It's
not fair to them.
Yeah.
He says, because that will require more work, and until we get people volunteering to help us, we're already at our limit. Next question. why don't you just bring on more mods?
So this seems like a conversation that they are having where it's just like, here's the rule, and it's just like, well, why do you have that rule? And it's like, because of this. Well, why don't you do this? That like it seems like it's a back and forth.
It does. And he says, honestly, the last 2 times we have done it, there is 1 person left out of the 10 plus mods that were added. Now, I want to
and we know who that person is, by the way. It's fucking Big Will, baby. It's fucking Big Will. Yeah.
Because he's still doing it in 2023. I mean, Big Will is their toughest soldier.
Yeah.
But I do have to, so he goes, we will do mod applications again, but it will be before the new season airs. So far, we just had this single special, and mod applications are not easy. Modding can be very time consuming, and we are unpaid volunteers. Remember, you get what you pay for. If you want to volunteer to help us in the meantime, feel free to shoot us a message and we will look you over. Now,
so this just turned into like them campaigning to get new mods. Like,
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine how hell it is to be a mod on the South Park Reddit.
Oh,
you know,
this motherfucker just said South Park. I just Flubheads, by the way. I know you guys you've been having a great time recently, but Flubheads, that was one for you. So
well, this comes out next week.
Yeah, well, hopefully everyone comments underneath the episode when you post on Twitter, South Park.
And here's the thing about this. Last week we had the flubbiest flub of all time, and now
a shocking flub that happened.
And now listeners are posting, I fixed it,
yeah,
put the thing up, and now Boko_T posted the flub version.
Yeah, so just to be clear, what happened was we did a whole intro, and I think Drill, like somebody didn't have their headphones in, so there was like, there was audio coming through, and I stopped it like 5 minutes in. I realized, hey, this is not going to work. It's going to be impossible to edit out, and so we got to start again. And Bryan left the initial one in and never took it out. And so, but it wouldn't be a big problem, except for we essentially did the same intro again. Like we just said the same things again, thinking it would be removed. And then he left all of it in, including the time in between when we were like talking, not thinking. Thankfully, we didn't say anything bad. Like, that was because we were just talking, thinking it wasn't going out. And he just posted the whole thing.
Yeah. It's a huge mistake. But we don't say bad stuff. It's just
what I mean is like I didn't mean bad, like problematic. What I meant was like a rude thing about somebody, or like, do you know what I mean? Like some comment about somebody that's just you don't want to be saying publicly. You
can just say you were quoting South Park.
Well, the next question I think is one that you guys are going to find very interesting, and I really think this frequently asked question is, but President Garrison is supposed to be Trump.
Sorry, excuse me.
Yeah, Mr. Garrison became president, and as
basically, are you talking about?
They did a whole. So the 2016 season was Mr. Garrison just is Trump. Like they don't have Trump on the show; he just becomes Trump, and he's running against Hillary. And like many people, like us too, I assumed, well, Hillary Clinton's going to win. They plotted the whole season that, well, when Hillary wins, Garrison goes back to work. And when Trump won, then they're like, well, then I guess Garrison's president, and he's going to be the Trump figure for this next 4 years.
And he still is now, or?
Well, he stopped being president soon enough. Well, also, after that season, then they said, we're going to step away from doing the Trump stuff now. It's kind of played out was their reasoning.
Okay. It is, and this is a 3-year-old frequently asked questions. So like that is like right in the middle probably of the other election, where the Biden Trump election, which probably the South Park Forum was a hellhole. But President Garrison is supposed to be Trump. Now, the answer to that isn't a question, but we all know who he's supposed to be. You want to make some stupid meme? Use President Garrison. Just leave Trump's name out of it.
That's smart. So you could just say like, yo, President Garrison is like fucking destroying this country with his like, you could just instead of saying Trump, just say Garrison and have your regular discussion.
Yeah. And in parentheses, he says, seriously, even putting his name in a title brings out the idiots. Or Use the actual Donald Trump from the show. He isn't president in the show, so it won't exactly make sense.
Well, wait a second. What are you talking about? We know who he is in real. So you're saying, oh, just put the image of him.
And just say like only in the I'm talking about how it annoyed me and when Donald Trump appeared in the show as a character, he was very racist or something.
So was Trump was in the show as himself. There was a Trump character in the show, but there was also Mr. Garrison as Trump.
Yeah, I would bet that in the past, before he became a candidate, Trump appeared in episodes as like, the usual, making fun of like Rip from the Headlines, his feud with Rosie O'Donnell.
The Apprentice stuff or whatever.
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah.
some reference to The Apprentice or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, there's still more to that.
Oh no.
He goes, you want to have Biden? Good news. He appeared in the show and you can use his depiction. Simply put, do not use real world depictions.
What?
I am not. What?
So you can't have photos, but you can have just a screen. Well, I mean, so you have a screenshot of Biden from like an Obama era episode and say like, this guy's stupid. Like, and that's okay. Like,
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. But if he posts his real image, that's a permaban.
That's too political.
Yeah. And he goes, I'm not kidding here. The mere mention, says it brings out the idiots again, just using their in-show counterparts. People get passionate about politics, and while that is good, it can also be really annoying. Last question. I got banned for politics. What do I do?
Just find a new forum.
Head over to Our Politics and
or start a new account or whatever. It's like it's all anonymous. Just get a different email and just if you I don't even know, you probably wouldn't even need a VPN. Just start a new account and come on and don't talk about politics.
Well, this is an interesting one, actually. First off, you should read this post. A link to this post should be included in your ban message. Once you've read this post, respond to the message and tell us you have read this post and are sorry for breaking the rules. So long as you aren't a dick about it, you will get unbanned. Seriously, an apology will get you far. So
that's nice.
People should reply to those emails with like a picture of Carbon saying like, Carbon would think this is gay. Your rules are gay, man.
Yeah,
totally the opposite of the show. I am a bigger fan than you.
It's a little bit of censorship, I think. Really.
Yeah, no, if you're on the South Park thing, like that guy, look, I get their reasoning for it, and I'm not taking South Park sides, but if you're in the South Park fandom and then you're like, guys, there's some topics we're just not going to talk about anymore. It's like, then why are you on the South Park Reddit? Like, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm just picturing a guy watching the first episode of next season and being like, please have Ron DeSantis. Please have Ron DeSantis.
I just want to talk about it so badly. Yeah, he's got it all ready to go. He's got the meme and everything ready.
Yeah. Yeah.